Fit in 10 Nation, it is day 56 of the Fit in 10 Challenge. We are, well, two weeks left now. It's kind of getting sad, I have to admit. I mean, every time this, or every point this, time rolls around the challenge, it gets a bit depressing. And, to be completely transparent with you, I am still thinking about ways to evolve this thing to, better help you guys and keep you guys going. I mean, I already have stuff out there, and I'll talk about it in a bit here. At least I'll touch upon it. Because somebody was asking about, well, actually several of you have been asking about it. Yeah, it still is kind of, 70 days is short. It goes by really fast. Are you drinking water? I hope you are. I have one of those water purifiers that I don't really know how it works, to be honest with you. But it takes like forever for it to like filter a liter of water. Like, it sits there and it drips like one drip every, 10 seconds. So it's really slow. So I figure it's working if it's like really that slow. It definitely tastes different, for sure. Like, you don't taste nearly the amount of chlorine, so it's definitely filtering out some stuff. Unless it's adding in something, but I don't know. I think it's doing something. Hopefully it is. Hopefully it's getting rid of any of the bad stuff that's in there. Because unfortunately there is bad stuff even in our drinking tap water. Maybe not a lot, but it's there. Okay, let's get some questions here. Core. This is a big topic. Core. People always talk about core. I want to strengthen my core. Many people that walk into the gym, that want training, they say they want to strengthen their core. The problem with core is that there is there's no definition for core. You can't open up an anatomy book and see, the core muscle. And there's no agreed definition for what the core is. So I always ask people, what do you mean by core? And usually people will say to me, what do you mean? You don't know what core is? And so I'll give you my definition, but there is no standard for core, right? So what core means to me is like essentially cut off your limbs, and that is your core. So, but quite often what people think of core as is typically the musculature through the midsection, and in more particular, or more precisely, the deeper lying musculature, like your transverse. So this is, typically the musculature that we use when we do things like planks, or when we're doing like overhead presses, or maybe like reaching out to grab something. We always try to engage our transverse. Again, this is the deeper musculature in the abdomen. But the reality is that your pecs, the more superficial musculature through your torso, in my opinion, of course this is my opinion, your serratus, so the muscles that are around part of your rib cage, your obliques, all the muscles in your back, that is the superficial muscles and the deeper lying musculature. What else? You can make an argument for, maybe your hip flexors, perhaps your glutes. So there's a lot there. So, when you're going to strengthen your core, basically what I'm saying is there's many pieces to it. Again, depends on, how you want to define core. But even if we're talking about, let's just say we're talking about transverse, okay? Let's just really hone into one area, transverse. It's not enough just to strengthen your transverse doing a plank, like that will obviously do something, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you can engage your transverse very well to swing or to do an overhead press or to squat or to do a bent over row or whatever. Anytime you need to stabilize your midsection, right? So because a lot of it is like, okay, let's stabilize the midsection, but then let's do this type of action at the same time, and those are you have to couple those things. So you got to strengthen it for different activities. So it's very, very multifaceted. All right, so I always find it interesting when people say I need to strengthen my core. And I'm like, well, we're opening up a big can of worms here, and I don't, and I'm certainly not trying to be demeaning, but to anybody who says that, but I don't think people really know what that means. I admit I don't really necessarily know what that means either, just because it's so, it's kind of like saying, it's in some ways it's like saying I need to, I need to strengthen through here, I got to strengthen all this area here, right? It's like, okay, so, anyways, I think you get my point, at least a little bit here. All right. Maintenance. People are asking about what to do to maintain, and I am giving you guys an exit strategy when it comes to diet. Now, I want you to understand something, and I'll speak about this when I get to the message of the day, and I don't want to give away the message of the day quite yet. But everything is relative. Everything is relative. So if you're doing everything you're doing, if you change that, so if you go from working out less and not eating quite as stringent, not eating the same, okay, well, let's be more specific. You go, let's say less calories, less protein, you're gonna see a loss in strength. You're going to see a loss in musculature. You're making a relative change, and that type of change would result in that, right? And likewise, if you finish a challenge and you increased your training, let's say you added another day of working out with weights, and you honed into your diet even more, then you probably see better results. All right. So if you want to maintain, then my suggestion is to basically keep up with what you're doing. Okay, but without me just kind of pointing you blindly, just understand that it's all relative. It's all relative. So depending on the changes you make after this, that's going to result in different changes, whichever direction you go in, right? So there is like the idea of, and I'm not sure if you have this idea or not, but if you have the idea that you can attain a certain level, which requires, X amount of work in the gym and eating a certain way, and then you can change those variables and you're still going to stay there. It doesn't work like that. And that applies to everything in life, right? Like you can't put all this effort into your business day in, day out, and then say, okay, now let me just sit back and let things, just somehow magically just keep things going, right? Now, obviously, business is a little bit different. You could hire people and you could train them and you could get them to be, so that you physically don't have to do anything. The point is, though, all those processes still have to be in order and working just as they've always been, right? So, the same applies to this, right? Only we can't get people to do it for us. It's just we have to keep doing it, right? So I want to put that in your mind. Everything is relative. So let's get the message of the day. And, you are a reflection of your past. Essentially, you are. Your past has brought you to where you are today. I remember a few challenges ago, I went on a bit of rant with people, and essentially I said that, you are a reflection of, what you've been doing in your past. And, maybe I shouldn't have said it quite this way, but I said something to the effect of, I'm not responsible for where you are today, right? And I'm not. Nobody's responsible for where you are today. You are largely, if not wholly, responsible for where you are today. And, what you've done in the past, so what you guys have done, over the last 8 weeks has gotten you to where you are today. And, in class we saw today, then I'm looking around, I'm like, Jesus, this is just great, because I pushed everybody a little bit more tonight. I did drop the reps down slightly, and I pushed everybody to go heavier. And I'm just looking around, people doing the squats and the deadlifts and the weights they're using. I'm like, this is amazing, because these are you guys have been, working with these weights that are, this is still relatively new to you, but your progression has been, just outstanding. So, and it's expected, it's expected, but it's still always really refreshing to see. And again, it's just a reflection of the fact that you've been consistent and you've been working hard over the last 8 weeks, right? So, if you want to maintain where you're at, you've got to keep up with your homework. It's just the way it is. All right, day 56 in the books here. Wow, I really rambled. That's a new one. I really rambled is what I wanted to say. All right, 11.5 minutes here. That's not too good. Submit, commit. 2 weeks left, guys. 2 weeks left. If you've fallen off the wagon, if you've been hiding from me, and you know who you are, get back on the horse, get back into things, do not give up, and finish this challenge strong. Positive energy, positive vibes. Give gratitude, and for the love of humanity, believe in yourself, you guys. Tomorrow morning, 10:15, we are doing some upper body work. So come on out. Let's have a party. Let's get stronger. Let's get in better shape. And, I don't know. Let's show off a little bit. All right? I don't know. We'll talk to you guys all soon. Have a wonderful evening. I will see you tomorrow, hopefully. See ya.